I mean, it's unfortunate, but like, I don't know. Why do you want to be the face of a league when all the people that that cover our game and talk about our game on a day-to-day basis on everybody? I mean, that responsibility. It's just weird. It's weird energy from the people that I don't know, but. Channing, he said it. He said it perfectly. Couldn't have said it no better. But Ant said he don't want it. I mean, obviously, I didn't ask for it. But I knew there was a responsibility for me, not only to my family, my friends, my community, and whoever that was going to follow my journey throughout my career.
And LeBron was widely viewed as a stabilizing force who restored championship credibility. By the 2024-2025 season, however, the tone surrounding his presence had noticeably shifted. Fans began observing changes in his demeanor, particularly in post-game interviews and on-court body language. While such changes can often be attributed to age, fatigue, or competitive frustration, repeated instances drew increased attention. Statements that appeared to deflect responsibility or emphasize the shortcomings of others were interpreted by some as public criticism of teammates. One comment following a January 2025 loss became a focal point of discussion. When LeBron stated that he could only do so much and that others needed to step up professionally, reactions were mixed. Some viewed the comment as a standard expression of leadership. Others perceived it as an indirect but pointed critique of teammates delivered publicly rather than internally. The ambiguity of the statement allowed multiple interpretations, which fueled debate across fan forums and social media platforms. As these discussions grew, fans began re-examining similar comments from earlier in the season. Patterns were identified, whether accurately or not, suggesting a shift from collective accountability to individual separation. This perception contributed to growing skepticism among supporters who had previously defended LeBron.
It's 23rd season. It's insane, and just sharing the court with him, it's special, and he sees things that other people can't. So he's here to help us all. So it's amazing, and it's only his first game back, and he played amazing. So I'm excited to play some more.
Tolerance for dissent or mistakes. Such conditions, if accurate, can strain team dynamics, particularly when younger players are involved. One reported practice incident, which was not covered by major outlets, circulated widely through indirect descriptions online. A younger player allegedly made a mistake during a scrimmage and was publicly reprimanded in front of teammates. While accountability is common in professional sports, the tone and delivery of the criticism were described as excessive by those who later spoke about it anonymously. Whether exaggerated or accurate, the story resonated because it aligned with the emerging narrative of tension. As fragments of audio and vague references surfaced on social media, fans began connecting these reports with visible changes in player interactions. Teammates who had previously shown public camaraderie appeared more distant online. Posts became less frequent, collaborations disappeared, and subtle changes were closely analyzed. While social media behavior is not definitive evidence of conflict, it played a significant role in shaping public perception. Media coverage remained cautious during this period. Major networks largely avoided direct discussion of internal issues, focusing instead on game results and general performance analysis. This absence of reporting led many fans to believe that the story was deliberately being downplayed. Whether due to lack of verified sources or commercial considerations, the silence contributed to increased distrust among segments of the fan base. As the season progressed, attendance at home games reportedly declined. Secondary ticket market prices dropped, and merchandise sales slowed. While multiple factors can influence these trends, fans interpreted them as signs of dissatisfaction rather than temporary disengagement. Public demonstrations of frustration began appearing online, including videos from longtime supporters expressing disappointment and emotional fatigue. A February 2025 press conference marked a turning point in public sentiment. When asked about the team's cohesion after a significant loss, LeBron stated that he had fulfilled his responsibility.
But I don't know. I think it was okay. I don't like to say it's a successful year because I don't play for anything besides winning championships at this point in my career. And You know, I don't get a kick out of making a conference appearance. I've done it a lot. And, and it's not fun to me to not be able to be a part of
engagement, especially during adversity. While most avoided naming individuals directly, the context was widely understood. A subsequent game further reinforced these perceptions. During a lopsided loss, cameras captured LeBron seated on the bench with minimal visible interaction. While isolated moments can be misleading, repeated clips circulated widely, reinforcing the narrative of disengagement. A brief interaction with a younger teammate that appeared to be ignored became a focal point of online discussion. In the post-game interview, LeBron addressed questions about his body language by stating that he was not responsible for managing grown men. The response, intended or not, contrasted sharply with traditional expectations of veteran leadership. For many fans, this comment solidified the belief that a disconnect had formed between LeBron and the team's culture. Polling conducted by fan platforms and sports forums suggested a significant decline in confidence in his leadership, not necessarily in his skill. Calls for organizational change grew louder, including demands to trade him or allow a transition to younger leadership. Public demonstrations, while limited in scale, symbolized broader dissatisfaction. Within the organization, reports described increased pressure on public relations teams and internal discussions about how to stabilize perception. Sponsorship activity appeared to slow, with some campaigns delayed rather than canceled. LeBron's own social media presence became noticeably quieter, adding to speculation. By late February, the divide within the fan base was clear. While a minority continued to support him unconditionally, the majority expressed a desire to move forward. This shift was particularly striking given the depth of loyalty he had previously enjoyed. The situation reflects a broader reality about leadership in professional sports. Success creates expectations, and longevity magnifies scrutiny. When communication falters and accountability feels uneven, trust erodes quickly. Championships provide credibility, but they do not guarantee permanent goodwill. Whether LeBron can rebuild trust with Lakers Nation remains uncertain. Restoring confidence requires more than strong performances. It demands transparency, humility, and consistent engagement. At this stage, the question is less about talent and more about alignment between leadership style and organizational culture. This episode serves as a case study in how quickly public perception can change when fans feel disconnected from the values they associate with their team. It also highlights the limits of narrative control in an era where audiences actively interpret and disseminate information independently. The story is not necessarily about failure, but about transition. Roles evolve, expectations shift, and not every chapter ends with universal approval. How this period is ultimately remembered will depend on what follows, not only on what has already occurred. Beyond the immediate reactions of fans and media, the situation also exposed deeper structural tensions within modern professional basketball. Star-driven systems place immense influence in the hands of a single player, often blurring the line between leadership and authority. When that balance tilts too far toward control, it can create friction not only among teammates, but within the broader organizational culture. In the case of the Lakers, this tension appeared to surface during a period when the team was already struggling with injuries, roster instability, and heightened expectations. Veteran leadership is traditionally defined by presence during adversity. Historically, aging stars were expected to mentor younger players, stabilize locker rooms, and model professionalism, even when their physical abilities declined. This expectation is rooted in the belief that experience compensates for diminishing athleticism. When fans perceived a withdrawal from that role, whether intentional or circumstantial, it clashed with deeply ingrained ideas about what leadership should look like in Los Angeles. The Lakers franchise, more than most organizations, carries a strong cultural identity shaped by past legends. Figures like Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Kobe Bryant are remembered not only for championships, but for their symbolic relationship with the city. They embodied a sense of obligation to the franchise that extended beyond individual success. As a result, Lakers fans tend to evaluate stars through a cultural lens rather than purely statistical performance.
This context matters because it influences how actions and words are interpreted. Statements that might be received as honest or pragmatic elsewhere can feel dismissive in a market where emotional investment runs exceptionally deep. When LeBron emphasized that he had already delivered a championship, some fans interpreted it as closing the book on his responsibility to the team's future. Whether that interpretation was fair or not, perception played a decisive role. The age also cannot be ignored. By the 2024-2025 season, LeBron was navigating a stage of his career few players ever reach. Longevity at that level is unprecedented, and the physical and mental demands of sustaining elite performance over 2 decades are significant. Fatigue, frustration, and the pressure of constant scrutiny inevitably shape behavior. However, fans rarely separate these factors from expectations. Longevity may explain changes, but it does not always excuse them in the eyes of supporters. Another layer to the situation is the evolving relationship between players and fans in the social media era. Direct access through platforms like Twitter and Instagram has fundamentally altered how athletes communicate. Silence, once neutral, is now often interpreted as avoidance or disengagement. When LeBron reduced his online presence during the controversy, it removed a channel that previously helped humanize him to fans. The absence of communication allowed speculation to fill the void. At the same time, social media amplified the most critical voices. Algorithms favor emotionally charged content, which can distort the overall sentiment of a fan base. While polls and online reactions suggested overwhelming dissatisfaction, it is important to acknowledge that highly motivated critics are often more visible than quietly supportive fans. Nevertheless, visibility shapes narrative, and narratives influence organizational pressure. Internally, franchises must navigate these narratives carefully. Teams balance loyalty to star players with long-term planning and public perception. When a player's relationship with the fan base deteriorates, it complicates decision-making. Moving on from a star of LeBron's stature carries financial, reputational, and competitive risks. At the same time, maintaining the status quo amid growing discontent can erode trust between the organization and its supporters. This tension places front offices in a difficult position. Publicly, teams often emphasize unity and patience. Privately, they must assess whether alignment still exists between leadership, roster development, and cultural expectations. In Los Angeles, where scrutiny is constant, these decisions are magnified. The broader media environment also shapes outcomes. National coverage tends to focus on legacy, milestones, and historical context, often insulating established stars from sustained criticism. Local coverage, by contrast, reflects fan sentiment more directly. During this period, local radio shows, podcasts, and independent analysts played a significant role in expressing frustration that was not fully represented on national platforms. This disconnect further fueled perceptions that mainstream narratives were out of step with on-the-ground reality. The silence or restraint of major networks does not necessarily indicate deliberate suppression. Journalistic standards require verification, and anonymous accounts are difficult to substantiate. However, in the absence of reporting, fans often assume intentional avoidance, especially when commercial relationships exist between leagues, teams, and broadcasters. This assumption, whether accurate or not, contributed to declining trust in traditional sports media. Leadership transitions are rarely smooth, particularly when they involve iconic figures. The challenge lies in managing decline without diminishing legacy. Players who dominate for extended periods often struggle with the psychological shift from central authority to shared influence. Accepting a reduced role, even symbolically, can be more difficult than maintaining physical performance. Fans, meanwhile, often expect this transition to happen seamlessly. In Los Angeles, the expectation was not that LeBron carry the team indefinitely, but that he guide its evolution. When that guidance appeared inconsistent or